let's talk about HBO Max again. I gave my initial thoughts on the day it was released, and I generally felt pretty positively about it. Still do. And it helps that in most of December, they were offering a deal to new and returning customers to get HBO Max for $12 a month for the first 12 months. I certainly felt positively about that. But the deal ended on September 25th, and that price is now at its normal $15 a month. So, is it still worth it after that jump in the price? Well, we're going to talk about that. Plus, we'll get into where we're at with Roku and Fire TV deals for HBO Max, what happened to the HBO Go and HBO Now apps, and more. So, we got a lot to get to. Let's dive in. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this video is entertaining or informative or helpful in some way, give it a like. I'd appreciate that. All right, so for $15 a month for HBO Max, what do you get? Well, that's the easy part. HBO Max, they do have a big problem, but it's not about what you get on the service. Basically, as we knew before it ever launched, this might as well have been called HBO Plus. Thank goodness they didn't actually call it that, of course, but it would have made a lot more sense than Disney Plus or Apple TV Plus, because in this case, it's HBO and all of the amazing premium content it's had for years, plus a massive chunk of the Warner Media library. So yeah, we've got all of the HBO stuff like Raised by Wolves and Perry Mason and Lovecraft Country and Watchmen and all of those titles that you have come to know and love from HBO. We might as well call them HBO Max exclusives. But when we talk about HBO Max exclusives, it's not quite the same thing as talking about exclusives for something like Netflix or Peacock, because its originals are just HBO shows, which you could get through a regular HBO subscription on your cable provider. And more on that in just a second. But regardless, HBO's reputation for consistently great content is well deserved. And if it was just about those originals, those HBO originals, then it would probably merit the $15 by itself. And it did for a lot of people when it was HBO Now. But it's not by itself. There's also that Warner Media library I mentioned. So in addition to the HBO stuff, you get anime from Crunchyroll, classics curated by Turner Classic Movies, Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Studio Ghibli, DC Universe, Doctor Who, and on and on and on. So is it worth $15? Honestly, I'd say HBO Max is worth $15 sooner than Netflix is worth $13. Maybe. I'll think about that. Regardless, yeah, it's got a ton of amazing stuff on there. But like I said, it's not without its problems. The main problem right now is availability. HBO Max was released in late May without apps available on either Roku or Amazon Fire TV platforms. Now, sure, you can get it on Apple TV and Android TV, your phone, your tablet, your desktop browser, your game console, whatever. So who cares, right? Well, Roku and Fire TV make up about 70% of the streaming device market, last I checked. So yeah, a lot of people care. I know I do. I use a Roku TV for my daily driver. Now, when all of this went down in late May, my prediction was that they'd have a deal in place by the end of June, because it would be insane to leave that many potential subscribers on the table. Clearly, I was, well, not wrong per se, but, less right than normal, perhaps. Thing is, when NBC's Peacock service released in July, it was in the exact same boat. And now, as of a couple weeks ago, Peacock has made a deal with Roku. And that makes me wonder if Fire TV won't be far behind, by the way, but we'll see. But now, HBO Max doesn't have its little streaming partner in crime anymore. It is standing firm all by itself. Now, of course, the good news is that I'm cursed. Really? No, every time I bring up something like this, the facts on the ground change before I can actually release the video. So now that I've recorded this video, I'm sure HBO Max will ink its own deals and this will be immediately out of date. Did it happen yet? Did it happen? Probably happened. Any second. Anyway, if not the Roku or Fire TV, which device should you use to watch HBO Max? Well, funny you should ask that. I just did a video on Roku and Fire TV alternatives that you should check out. The short of it is this. For a premium experience, probably go with the Apple TV. For a budget experience closer to the price that you would spend on a Roku or Fire Stick, go with the TiVo Stream 4K. Now, speaking of the app, let's talk about what HBO Max replaced app-wise. This was one of the most frustrating things about the announcement of HBO Max back in 2019, because we already had HBO, and HBO Go and HBO Now that we had to keep straight in our heads and how they all worked. And it wasn't even clear on the day of HBO Max's release what was going to happen with everything else, but they did end up making a good decision. Basically, they scrapped HBO Now and HBO Go, leaving us with two things, HBO and HBO Max. That's it. So now here's the deal. If you already had HBO Now, you got upgraded to HBO Max at no extra cost. You just needed a device that would actually support it. In my case, I had the HBO Now app on my Roku, and that actually reverted to simply HBO. Nothing really changed as far as what I could watch, just the branding. If you were on a device like the Apple TV that could get HBO Max, then they changed it, upgraded it free of charge, or free of extra charge, I should say, to HBO Max. Now, if you have HBO through your TV provider, in most cases, you get access to HBO Max as well. You just have to download the app and sign in through that provider. So yeah, with just two apps now to worry about, things are a little cleaner, a little neater than we feared that they might be. But it is still confusing enough that if you go to HBOMax.com, right on the front page, they have a section called, "Do I already have access to HBO Max?" So if you're not sure, just go check that out. And if you don't have access to it yet, our own writer, Chantel, just published a piece on how to get it. So you can go check that out. I'll link to it in the description. All right, that was a lot of info to process. Thanks for hanging with me. And now I'd like to take a few weeks off from saying the letters HBO. But anyway, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. The question here in this video is whether it's worth $15 a month versus 12. Obviously, I think it is, but I want to hear what you have to say as well. And on your way down to the comments, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your hamster. Let's get this channel up to 200,000 subscribers. What do you say? Help me out.